Alrighty, Void. Let's get this one done and out of the way. Halloween Resurrection. Okay. So, I've seen this one maybe 3 times now. Once when it first came out, which is also right when I was first running through the Halloween series. Once when I kind of did a last rewatch of everything, and this time. I will say I have softened on it a little bit, but... Okay, so... If you're keeping score, at the end of the last Halloween, Michael got decapitated. And for the most part, they don't really depict Michael as too superhuman, other than the fact that he just doesn't seem to be able to die, but losing your noggin's probably going to slow you down. So, this one, they posits that he didn't actually get killed there. That there was a switcheroo that happened where he put his mask on someone else who he broke the vocal box of, thereby the wrong person got decapitated, and Jamie Lee Curtis, because of this, is now in an asylum. Okay. So, I can be down with Laurie Strode getting the wrong guy and then being locked up for it, but the way they go about it really just feels like a disservice to her character, who is such a well put together woman in the previous film, despite her anxieties. Now she's in an asylum, and they do the thing that I hate the most, where they bump off the previous final girl in the first 5 minutes of the movie. I dislike that in Friday the 13th Part 2. I dislike that in Alien 3. I dislike that in general. So that already puts this movie on the bad foot for me. And also there goes pretty much your main star power, because the only other real name that I could recognize attached to this one was Busta Rhymes. Which, he's not terrible, but I can't really call him a great actor. He's clearly enjoying being here, though. Okay. So, the premise of this movie, I actually didn't mind. So, essentially, there's this reality TV show where they go in and, investigate murders or crimes and things like that, just for a laugh. And so, essentially, it's on Halloween, a bunch of people are going to investigate the old Myers house, and they claim it's, untouched since the events, and then they're going to wander through and see if they can figure out what happened. And it's clear that the whole thing's pretty much rigged with a bunch of scares just to drum up the live web audience. So, which I thought was an interesting angle of doing almost like a live stream horror film before those kind of later became more of a thing. So it was an interesting idea, but the payoff isn't that great here. So mostly it's the acting and the premise, because the main girl doesn't want to be there, and it's makes her kind of hard to root for, and she has this weird relationship with her online boyfriend, I guess, who's watching the show and giving her clues and tips, which that part was working okay for me. Especially I kind of was amused by gets dragged to a party and starts kind of watching this, and more people keep getting in and getting invested in watching, so I did kind of like that. But the cast just isn't working. You got this one girl who's trying to do the brilliant feminist thing, but as soon as the cameras are off, she's grabbing the nearest guy and trying to ride him ragged, so it's... And she seemed like an interesting character, but then she immediately just goes back on everything because she's getting with the skeeviest asshole there. It's like, why? So I was kind of on... Then, the basic premise I did like of them trying to do this haunted house style reality show in the Myers house, and the real Michael shows up. But it's hard to take it seriously when you got Busta Rhymes mouthing off to Michael Myers. And him having this weird kung fu fixation. I swear half his dialogue is him just ad-libbing to himself, and he's trying to turn it into a character, and it's a character, but just not a very believable one. So, that's not working. The whole thing just feels off. Like, well, they completely abandoned the mentions of the son, so why isn't Michael hunting him? We don't know. It's not really brought up. So Josh Hartnett's character is completely forgotten. Yeah. This movie is a lot of wasted opportunity. This one's circa 2002, and yeah, it feels very 2002. I mean, LL Cool J's dialogue was bad in the previous one, but it was like deliberately so, as he was trying to be a writer, and he wasn't very good at it. So half of his stuff is him quoting his own writing, and that gives us a bit of a smile. And he was a likable character. Like, he actually had a kind of a rapport with Josh Hartnett. This one, Busta Rhymes got a rapport with no one, and most of the characters just are asses. It's hard to root for anyone other than the main girl. And even she is just like so wishy-washy. It's when the keyboard commando, that's back on It's Safety Watching, is the most likable character. And even then, it's they're doing the whole internet is cool kind of thing, so it's just a gimmick. But all this movie has is that gimmick. So I'm kind of torn on where to put this one, because I only gave 4 to age 20 because that was lackluster. This one is worse overall, but it has a gimmick that's at least trying to do something different, but it isn't working. So there are different flavors of bad, but this one, just the execution, I think, is worse enough that I'm going to drop it down to 3 MacGuffins. Halloween Resurrection is not good. I've watched plenty worse, and I don't hate the film by any means, but it's just, if I'm watching it, it's an obligation watch because I'm rewatching through the series. It's not one I'm just going to put on individually. That's all I got on this. Okay, wait. See ya. Oh, and I haven't actually seen Halloween Ends yet. I've done a review on the redo of Halloween and Halloween Kills, so I don't know when I'm going to get to Halloween Ends. I really don't. If I happen across like a physical copy to add, yeah, I'll jump on it. But as of right now, my backlog is long enough for streaming things, so it's not a priority. Okay. See you later, Void.